I think so.
What letter is this?
Q.
Q. This is indeed a
Hey,
Q.
Froggy.
All right, welcome to the Patriot Hour for October 2nd, Tuesday, October 2nd, 2018. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. October, almost been a year, folks, for the Q drops, Q updates, breadcrumbs. Unbelievable year of truth coming up here. Anniversary of truth drops. This all started back, I like to say, even with WikiLeaks back in like 2008. Governments of the world were warned. If you're, and not just governments, but, local agencies, including like police, law enforcement, etc., so on. They warned out if you were in a position of power, if you were in a position of authority, if you were committing treasonous acts of atrocities against your own people, abusing your power. They warned the pedophiles. We're going to expose you. That's the warning that came out. We're going to expose you. And since then, it's been a progressive downhill. Truth has been rolling downhill and only getting bigger and bigger and more support. Funny thing is about truth, you set it free and it doesn't need much help. It just picks up momentum on its own because truth is light, okay, folks? And light comes into the dark and exposes it, and can't really ever go back to being dark in that area once there's a bunch of light shined on it. Okay, we got some new QAnon, Q clearance, breadcrumbs. We're going to jump right into those. Take a minute here to say thanks to all the subscribers, supporters. Big changes are coming. It's been sparse on some video for the last 24 hours. Been super busy with the website, embedding some code, and then testing. But you guys will be real amazed here in the next 12 to 24 hours. Lots going on here today as well. Just wanted to get this update out. So let's jump in. Let's jump right on in here without any further ado. Okay, the last one I went over was 2303. We're going to go over 2304 and up. All right, 2304 came yesterday at 1442, 2:42 p.m. We got a PNG here. Snowden now a liability to the clowns. This came on 15 of February 2018. You have the James Dolan, dead suicide. Aaron Swartz, dead suicide. Kevin Paulson turned over secure drop to freedom of the press. Secure drop, freedom of the press. So then this brings in the John Barlow. Snowden, Assange, John Cusack, Daniel Ellsberg, Glenn Greenwald, and Laura Petraeus. Snowden, Cusack, things that can and cannot be said. Daniel Ellsberg, Pentagon Papers. Glenn Greenwald, Snowden, The Guardian. Laura Petraeus, Snowden, The Program. William Benny, former NSA. John Barlow, VP, Algae Systems Treating Wastewater. Barlow Clark, Burning Man. Glenn Clark, Anti-Trump, Westpac supports Clintons. I think the key is the media changing the narrative of using secure drop, which is dictated heavily by Snowden. So all these people, 187 post name drop at Snowden, you are now a liability. You had James Dolan, dead suicide. Aaron Swartz, dead suicide. If you don't know who these people are, folks, I suggest you look into them. Aaron Swartz. I haven't seen that name in a while. Okay, so John Barlow Dig. Who would want to kill John Barlow? What benefit would John Barlow's death provide? When was John Barlow murdered? Did John Barlow survive a murder attempt only to succumb to its lingering effects eventually? Washington Post. Meet the man whose utopian vision for the internet conquered and then warped Silicon Valley. By Jacob Silverman. To understand where this cyber libertarian ideology came from, you have to understand the influence of a declaration of the independence of cyberspace, one of the strangest artifacts of the 1990s, and its singular author, John Perry Barlow, perhaps more than any other, and his philosophy, which meddled counterculture, utopianism, a rancher's skepticism toward government, and a futurist faith in the virtual world that shaped the industry. A declaration of the independence of cyberspace was an utterly serious document for a delirious, optimistic era. Barlow's 846-word text published online February 1996 begins with a bold rebuke of a traditional sovereign powers. Governments of the industrial world, you are wary giants of a flesh and steel. I come from cyberspace, the new home of mind. On behalf of the future, I ask you of the past to leave us alone. You are not welcome among us. You have no sovereignty where we gather. He explains how cyberspace is a place of ultimate freedom, where controversial laws don't apply. When Eric Schmidt describes the internet, however, misguidedly, as the world's largest ungoverned space in his book, The New Digital Age, he is borrowing Barlow's rhetoric when tech mogul Peter Thiel writes in The Education of a Libertarian that he founded PayPal to create a currency free from government control, and that by starting a new internet business, an entrepreneur may create a new world. It's impossible not to hear Barlovian echoes. The grandiose idea is so common now that HBO has a comedy, Silicon Valley, dedicated to mocking it. I've caught an episode or two of that. Meet the man who's... so here we go. We got an article. There's John Barlow. Governments of the industrial world, you're weary giants of flesh and steel. I come from cyberspace, the new home of the mind. On behalf of the future, I ask you of the past to leave us alone. You are not welcome among us. You have no sovereignty where we gather. The article above was published on March 20th, 2015. Barlow suffered a near-fatal heart attack on May 27th, 2015. Hold on here. Okay, so he later reported that he was recovering. John Perry Barlow, 187 post name drop. 187 equals murder. Post equals Washington Post. Barlovian equals name equals drop. Q suggests John Barlow was murdered for his ability to influence through activities in the Freedom of the Press Foundation. The Washington Post article highlights Barlow's ability to influence wealthy techno-capitalists towards his idealistic goals. At Snowden, you are now a liability. Freedom of the Press Foundation, FPF, is a non-profit organization funded in 2012 to fund and support free speech and freedom of the press. Its mission includes promoting and funding aggressive, public interest journalism focused and exposing mismanagement, corruption, and law-breaking in government. If wealthy people support Barlow's idealistic goals when they might help support the Freedom of the Press Foundation goals, promoting and funding aggressive, public interest journalism focused on exposing mismanagement, corruption, and law-breaking in government. Edward Snowden has moved into a position which was vacant due to Barlow's death. Q is stating Edward Snowden is identified as a liability by the same individuals who caused John Barlow's 187, who other unanswered questions, whose crimes are threatened to be exposed by John Barlow's activities. Was John Barlow's relationship with Dick Cheney part of the motive that led to his death? Was a heart-related death of Barlow's girlfriend, Cynthia Horner a botched first attempt to murder John Barlow. John Barlow was engaged to Cynthia Horner, a doctor whom met in 1993 at Moscone Center in San Francisco while she was attending a psychiatry conference, and Barlow was participating in a Steve Jobs comedy roast at a convention for the Next Computer. She died unexpectedly in 1994 while asleep on a flight from Los Angeles to New York, days before her 30th birthday, from a heart arrhythmia apparently caused by an undetected viral myocarditis. Ooh. Okay, simply, we made it to the public. Who adapted Jacob Silverman's book for the Washington Post article? Jacob Silverman is the author of Terms of Service, Social Media, and A Price of Constant Connection, from which this article is adapted. Is the Washington Post article a hit piece of coincidence? Simply, we made it public. Operation closed and cleaned. Coincidence, post drop. Coincidence, no name, exact 30. Coincidence, Senator Graham activated. In the end, you will be shocked to learn what you've essentially witnessed. Thank NYC bomber, fireworks hours prior. Where we go one, we go all. Okay, so that was a lengthy post. Let's move up here to 2305. This came at 1504. 3:04 p.m. We had an anonymous poster here. Post Ford should down for perjury. So should go down for perjury is what they're probably trying to say. We got Q refused to hand over therapy notes to the FBI. Think why. Justice K never named. Mr. X logged in book along with physical description during eyes closed session. == Justice K. FBI no subpoena power. In the brackets, no grand jury to demand. Justice K never named, asked during polygraph. Something did happen to Ford in her past. Use of that, something to frame Justice K. Dr. Ford's family has strong ties to the swamp. FBI has expanded investigation into other suspicious acts with support of ABC agency as authorized by POTUS. In the brackets, Rod Rosenstein involved? ? Q. Very interesting. Very interesting. All right, some of these are, again, just too easy to understand. They're cut and dry, folks, cut and dry. So keep your ears open and just listen to this. All right, 2306. Listen to it all, and then afterwards take these facts and run out and do some digging, or just pay attention to even the mainstream. You're going to hear tidbits of all of this. All right, with any good lie, we always say what? There's going to be about 90% truth, 10% lie. That can fluctuate a little bit, but you got to be able to chew the meat and spit out the bone. Again, 2306. This came at 15:33, 3:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got a Twitter link here. Senator and Majority Leader McConnell delivers remarks on Kavanaugh hearings. At the 9-minute mark, we will be voting this week. Heading to Tennessee now. So I'm imagining here at the 9-minute mark, that's what he's saying. But you can't hear it that way. So, all right, 2307. We got a YouTube here. This, I believe, is a Ronald Reagan. Yeah, Peace Through Strength. We'll close out the video on that. So that was 2307. We'll get back to that. Again, that's a Q+. 2308, this came at 1802, 6:02 p.m. We got an anonymous poster here. What time is a rally in Tennessee tonight? Eastern time. And then Q posted that for context. He posts back, does POTUS normally tweet heading to X prior to rally? Today, for the first time, we identify where we would be. Reconcile. 2309 came at 1810, 6:10 p.m. We got a PNG from 10-1, heading to Tennessee now. Q is saying that Trump normally tweets when he is going. Today he didn't. Today Q posted where he is going. Pick related. Yeah, right here, heading to Tennessee now. Normally POTUS tweets that. So that's all they're pointing out, folks. That's all they're saying. Heading to Tennessee now. All right, so we got, does POTUS normally tweet heading to X prior to rally? Today, for the first time, we identify where we would be. Reconcile. Heading to TN. Heading to West Virginia. Heading to Ohio. Heading to Du Bois, Iowa. Heading to Missouri. Heading to South Carolina. All right, so they're just showing that. Solid confirmation of POTUS on Q team. 5 of 5. Told us 5 times. 2311 came at 1826. Thank you, Q. God bless you, Patriot, he puts. 6:26 p.m. 1826. Civilian time, got a picture of PNG of a flag. 2312, 1843. This came at 6:43 p.m. Darkest days, amen, brother. This evil must be destroyed. And 2313 came at 1901, 7:01 p.m. We got an anonymous poster here. Burn disabled amputee veteran. Wife and I are ready. My injuries will be with it when we overthrow evil. Will be worth it when we overthrow evil. No words, Patriot. Allow us to carry this heavy burden. Trust your fellow man. We will win. God bless you and your family. Just reassuring this burn disabled amputee veteran not to worry anymore. The burden is now upon others. You've done your time. All right, we'll do an update here, 2313. We're going to go to see if there's anything further past 2313. All right, and I don't see anything new. Okay, folks, lots going on. We're hitting the 20-minute mark. I'll shut this down here in a minute. I just wanted to move forward today. Remember, folks, for all of these, if you're ever in doubt, just remember Huber behind the scenes. November of last year, we're almost hitting a year now of investigations. These are facts, all right? We got Huber investigating. We got the 50,000 signed, sealed indictments that have been stacking up. All right, we have the mass amounts of political parties, both sides of the lines that crosses, not seeking re-election. They don't want these seats that they have had and don't have to give up, and they're just going away, going back to the private sector. That's really, really strange. both sides of the line, almost a mass exodus amount of people leaving. We've had tons removed as well. All right, we've had tons removed, but other than that, other people started leaving left and right, both sides. The heads of these agencies, FBI, CIA, DOJ, etc., NSA, etc., they have been either removed, left shortly after Trump took office, or just put in their time when they're leaving, which has happened already or going to be happening. So you got the massive CEO and CFO, chief financial, chief. You got the owners of these companies, the people that sit on these boards, leaving at an all-time rate, stepping down. Some of them again have been removed, forced out, pending investigations and all this. Just remember these resignations when they're leaving out of DC or out of their companies or from these heads of these agencies. That is just the beginning. That's just the indicator. All right. The resignations are the indicator. We're looking for court convictions, military tribunals, and life in prison, life in Gitmo, death penalties, executions. That is the end result. They're just getting ready to leave. They're just able to leave their job and go home and sit and they're fine. Not just for now. Why aren't they making arrests one by one? Well, look at how they do the mob. They do them all on a Sunday, right out of church. If you get one or two and then you're going to try to work your way up and get 50 people, it ain't going to work real well because they're going to catch wind that 2-3 low men have been arrested and they're going to start destroying evidence and fleeing the country, trying to. So we got to do it all at once. It's a criminal enterprise, and dang near these things become unsealed all at once. So that's how that works. So we want to keep all that in mind, all right? Again, our agenda, our only agenda here at the Patriot Hour is to promote freedom and liberty. Fight for our freedoms and liberty. Never give them up. Promote truth, all right? We bring you what we deem to be truth, but again, don't ever take our word for it. Listen to everything you can, take in all the facts, and believe none of it until you can verify it yourself. That's what we try to do here, give you facts so you can piece and connect more dots in your own research. Again, I'm Michael. This is the Patriot Hour. God bless, Godspeed to each and every one of you worldwide. We'll see you back here real soon on the next Patriot Hour update.